Hello, world of the internet. It is Josh coming to everybody with a Friday snapshot. Now, I do this when I get the nudge to do it, and I just want to bring whatever kind of clarity and connection that I can to folks that come across this video right now. Before I shuffle the cards, before I talk about anything that the cards have to say, I do want to talk about pain. Every single one of us has pain. We do. We're going to have hurt. We're going to get hurt in this world by other people, by circumstances, by situations, by natural elements. And one of the most important facets of pain for me, in terms of dealing with it, in terms of holding it and holding the burden or the bearing the weight of it, is this. None of us should become agents of our own trauma. And oftentimes that's what happens, is that we do become agents or participants in our own pain. I'll give you a circumstance. Something that I come across often as a medium is this. Folks, adults, grown adults, helping their parents transition into the world of death. And we'll see people give up years of their life, give up space in their home, give up time, effort, energy, resources, all of that to help people move through illnesses and then move as peacefully and painlessly into death as possible. And something that I see often is parents, moving into the world of spirit, yes, and then watching over their loved ones, and then being so intricately tied to their well-being, to their mental and emotional aspects. And how many of us help our parents do this and then beat ourselves up, tear ourselves down, beat ourselves up because we didn't do enough, we didn't do more? I just encourage everybody that would bear the weight of pain, emotional, mental, spiritual pain, to not participate in increasing that in ourselves. Most of us are familiar with the term the inner child. I don't believe that any of us in this modern world have an inner child anymore. I believe most of us have an inner junkyard dog. A junkyard dog, unfortunately, is an animal put in a junkyard and beaten until it's ferocious, until it can only see itself in the world through one lens. That's what happens, unfortunately. And we, as people, we get beat up by this world. We get beat up by life. None of us have an inner child anymore. We all have an inner junkyard dog, something that has been traumatized so much that we kind of only see ourselves in this world and our place in it through one lens. I know anybody watching this, if they had an abused or traumatized animal in their home, the last thing that they would do is beat it more. You would give it encouragement and patience and love and nurturing and all of the wonderful energies that it would need to become well again. But look at what we do to ourselves. Look at how we beat ourselves up, how we blame ourselves for things that we would never have anybody else blame themselves for, how we put ourselves through mental and emotional processes that we would never have another human being go through. Look at how many of us participate in our own trauma. And that's unhealthy. That's not well. And if you're processing something that you would never have another human being process or carry, give yourself the grace of you. If you wouldn't have a sister or a brother or a son or a mother or father or anybody in your life that you love carry the weight of that burden, hell, if you wouldn't have a stranger carry a weight like that, then do yourself a favor and give yourself the same love and compassion that you would give other people. I try to keep these videos under 10 minutes long. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle 5 times to get the cards to where they need to be. And I'm going to give the snapshot. And the snapshot is, where are we? What is vexing and perplexing us? What is something that can heal and reveal? Now, many of us, fortunately not me, but I do have a grandmother in spirit. Many of us have parents, or especially mothers in spirit. And I want you to think about if you've lost your mom and she's in the world of spirit, I want you to think about her watching you carry that burden. If you have anybody in the world of spirit that you want to rest in peace, you truly have to live in peace. And that is just vital to my work and vital to my message. Now that I've shuffled, I've got 3 cards here for you. The first card is who you are right now. Oh my gosh, okay. So the 9 of Swords is that nightmare card. I couldn't have picked a better card to talk about what we're going through. This is that anxiety and worry and fear card. These are all imaginary. The Swords card talks about the mind, the mental aspect of us. Communication, yes. Breath, yes. But truly our mental parts, our mind and how it works. And our minds are, look at what grade school does for us. Our minds can learn based on repetition. You know the ABCs and you know numbers and multiplication tables and all that sort of stuff because you have repeated those sorts of things to yourself over and over again. Be careful of what you're repeating to yourself or allowing to be repeated to you. Counter that message. Counter that message as best you can. This next card is what vexes and perplexes us. Okay, so the Page of Pentacles. The way that I understand the pages, me and personally me, are they're students or they're beginners. And the Page of Pentacles is very much somebody who is just kind of getting going with their body or understanding their body. I want to invite you to see how your body is receiving messages from your mind. Here we go. We have this person who is, traumatized and worried and under just waking up from a nightmare. But look at what happens to our body when we're all tensed up and all of that. So this is very much talking about stress being the greatest killer. And I think of stress as death by 1,000 cuts. I just had a client today where I was kind of talking to her. It was like your stress, your anxiety, your control freakiness, just needing to control everything, it's tensing your body up. And as that does that, it's just death by 1,000 cuts. It's just a slow accumulative process of your well-being being worn down. Imagine what would happen if you were fair to yourself and you weren't fighting these inner battles. And look at what would happen to your body. Look at how your body would respond. This card right here is what heals and reveals. So, the Queen of Cups, to me, is what I kindly refer to as Big Mama energy. And this is why, again, I'm tattooed with roses and I wear pearls because I am very much devoted to the spirit of the mother. The mother. I have a peculiar relationship with Mary in the way that Mary is not just the mother of Jesus. Mary is the mother of us all. And this is a spirit that has been with us since the beginning of time. The Queen of Heaven, if you will, the Queen of the universe. And this is that idea of mothering, loving, giving that grace and compassion to ourselves. And that's so vital. That is so vital. So we'll have these nightmares, we'll have these anxieties, our body will respond. Unfortunately, it will. It's connected to our mind. But what would happen if we just gave ourselves the love that we give everybody else? Take for a moment the biggest regret that you have in your world. Take the biggest pain that you're dealing with emotionally. And now imagine if you had a sister or a brother or a mother or a daughter, even a stranger in this world was dealing with the same pain and turmoil. What is the advice that you would give them? What's the grace and compassion that you would give them? Now, the human creature is a very funny creature in the way that we're always talking to ourselves and we're always listening. So it's like we're computers always uploading and always downloading. You have far more control over the conversation you have with yourself than you realize. So it might take some effort and it might take some consistent application of that message, but I want you to tell yourself everything that you would tell somebody else over and over and over again so it sticks and so you're not worried so much about a nightmare. There we go. Keeping it under 10 minutes for everybody. I appreciate your presence here. I appreciate you walking this path with me, and I hope that this message helped. I really do. Take care of yourselves out there.